Welcome to SportsBeat, your best sports show in town covering local amateur athletics. My name is Ryan Johnson.
And I'm your hostess tonight, Michelle Cruz. Today's guests, actually, we have quite a few of them. Include coach and players from the Lewis and Clark women's basketball team. And the LC women are 12-1 and currently sit atop the Northwest Conference. Who we have here today are Coach Juli Fulks and players Kristina Williams and Sara Villanueva.
Also on tonight's show, we've got two boys from the Lake Oswego basketball team in. They're currently ranked #1 in state, and they are undefeated. Their names are Griffin and Daniel Verberg.
So throughout the show, we'll be bringing you scores and highlights from the past week's action, which there has been a lot, and as well as key matchups coming up this week to keep you posted. So hopefully you can attend.
Good. So welcome back to the show, Michelle.
Thank you.
This is your
I made it a second time.
Your second time you made the cut.
I did, apparently.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Have you been watching lots of sports since the last time you were here?
In all my spare time. But
Good.
I hear you have.
Good to hear. I have, and you're going to hear about it in the episode today because we're going to cover a lot of stuff that I've been watching.
Well, I look forward to it.
All right. So let's go ahead and get to our first guests. Why don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves? We'll start with you, Juli.
Yeah, I'm Juli Fulks. I'm the head women's basketball coach at Lewis and Clark.
I'm Sara Villanueva, and I'm the point guard for the women's basketball team.
I'm Kristina Williams, and I'm a senior on the team.
Well, welcome to the show. Kristina, I kind of want to start with you. You've won some honors. You've won some awards there at Lewis and Clark. You're a senior this year. Go ahead and just list a couple of the awards.
That's asking for a lot. Just a couple.
Or I will. I already know what they are.
Okay. Well, do you want to list them?
You were a player of the conference?
I was, player of the conference for this week. Yeah.
But how many times have you actually gotten that?
Over the 4 years, I'm not really sure. Maybe like 2 times every year. So I think, or once or twice. Yeah.
That's great.
That's awesome. I saw you play on Saturday against Whitworth, and it was a fantastic, hard-fought game, and I was really impressed with your play out there.
Thank you.
Yeah. Sara, will you just talk about kind of your role on the team a little bit?
Definitely keeping the team together and communicating, telling them what plays we need to run so that we're all on the same page, and pretty much being a deliverer.
You're the point guard?
Yeah.
Okay. And you're also a senior?
Yeah.
Have you started all 4 years?
No, I started the last 2 years.
Mm-hmm. All right. Juli, let's get you involved here. I know you've got things to say about your program. Give the viewers a little bit of background about yourself and how you came to Portland and Lewis and Clark.
Yeah, well, I'm originally from Ohio, so grew up in the Midwest and was a part of a really talented team, Capital University. And so there we were competing for national championships, and they've won quite a few. And so I think that did a good job of at least helping me understand what it looks like to be at the top of the country. And so I was fortunate enough to work at a couple different places, and probably most fortunate, Steve Wallow, our former AD, and Judy McMullen hired me when I was 26. And I think probably one of the best things that had happened is I ended up getting introduced to Tim Weitzel, one of our assistants. And so he and I started 9 years ago together, still coaching together. And it's been quite an experience. When we first started the first year, we were 5-12. If you would have come to the game then, the ball was probably in the stands a little bit more than now, so you would have probably got to play. But over time, we've ended up, turning the program around. And so, it was right away we kind of got to the top of the league, and it's one of the strongest leads in the country. In the last couple of years, it's probably been in the top 3. And so right away you figured out how to compete at the national level, and I think that's been really good for us.
Talk about the league and the division you play in a little bit.
Yeah, so Division III is a part of the NCAA, and it's the biggest division in women's basketball. Actually has the most teams of all the divisions in all the sports. And so we're going against 430 plus teams every year, currently ranked 9th in the country. And so we've moved up in that bit. In our league, there's 9 teams all over Oregon and Washington. And so right now there's 3 teams in our league that are ranked in the top 25. And since I've been here, we've always had 2 teams ranked in the top 25, but I think this is the first time we've ever had 3. And so it's a powerhouse right now. And we're going to try to find our way through it a little bit.
That's awesome. List the other teams in your conference.
Yeah, so here in Oregon, there's Willamette, which is down in Salem, Pacific, which is in Forest Grove, Linfield, which is in McMinnville, and who am I missing? George Fox, which is in Newburgh. Didn't mean to leave them out. And then up in Washington, we have Pacific Lutheran and Puget Sound, and they're both in Tacoma. And then on the east side, Whitworth is in Spokane, and Whitman's in Walla Walla.
Okay, so they're all Oregon and Washington.
Yeah.
Okay. And the 3 that are ranked in the top 25 right now are yourself and...
Yeah. Whitman, I think they were 19 going into this week, and George Fox was 24 or 25. I don't remember which.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you explained to me a little bit about how the tournament works, but your conference can only send 1 or 2 teams. Is
We
that right?
can. Yeah, there are, I think, 46 automatic qualifiers in the country, and our conference will get one of those. You know, due to the strength of the league, we've gotten an at-large in every year, and so that's based on all of our other Division III play going around. You know, we went to Colorado this year and won 2 games there. Went to California and won both of our games down there, and so that helps set us up for the end of the year if we can finish at the top outside of getting at the automatic qualifier. Yeah. Usually can find our way in.
Makes every game really important.
Yeah.
That's a huge accomplishment.
Yeah.
For you guys to come.
Sarah, who do you like playing against in the league? Are there any teams that you really get up for?
Definitely George Fox.
George Fox?
Yeah.
Are they kind of your rivals?
Yeah, been wanting to take him down
Yeah.
for a long time.
Did you play him already this season?
Yeah, we recently did, and we won.
You guys beat him one time.
Yeah.
Right on. Do you know a lot of the people on the other team? Do you know them at a personal level, or no?
No,
Just
I don't know any of them.
Just out on the court. Right on. Where are you from again?
From Sun Valley, California. It's the Los Angeles area.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Which high school did you go to?
Polytechnic High.
Okay. And you obviously played in high school.
Yeah.
Just a basketball player, or do you play other sports?
I did track and field, and I played some softball.
Right on. How'd you end up in sunny Portland?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know much about it. Julie came over and talked to me, and when I came up here, I first was drawn to just the plants, the trees, everything being so green, because back home it's not like that, and I was just really interested in it, and I really liked just Portland area. I thought it was a nice place, and so I decided to go for the change.
Mm-hmm. Did you grow up playing basketball, just on teams, or did you play outside a lot? You have such nice weather down there. Did you play outside?
Yes, definitely played outside. I have a lot of brothers, so it was a lot of more playing with my brothers rather than teams.
Older, younger?
Both, older and younger.
Are you the only girl?
I was at a time, but
Okay.
not no more.
Do you battle with your brothers play basketball?
Not no more. They used to play, but not anymore.
Mm-hmm. Not after they had to play against you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kind of taught him a lesson. All right, so Kristina, where are you from? Portland originally, or?
No, I'm from El Dorado Hills, California. It's outside Sacramento.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Do you ever visit, or
Yeah.
do you have family here too?
I don't have any family here. Most of them actually live there, and I'm able, during basketball season, it's like pretty hard to go home. We
Oh,
normally
yeah, I'm
get to
sure.
go home for Thanksgiving and Christmas. But they actually, especially this year, since it's my last year, I've had a lot of family at games. So I've actually been seeing them a lot, even though I've only was home for Christmas.
Yeah, and I bet they're so proud of you when they see you play. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, do you play any other sports, or is it mainly basketball for you?
Yeah, just basketball through high school and now. So.
Okay, cool.
Michelle mentioned that your family watches you. Are they able to? You guys stream games at your school?
Yeah, all of our home games for sure are streamed online. So even if my family can't come, they're watching online. And it's actually pretty cool because a lot of my mom's family lives in South America, and so even there, they're like watching my games online, which is pretty cool.
That's
so,
great.
Yeah.
And is that on your website then?
Yeah, it's on the website. There's always like a link to our games.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Do you guys have a special website for sports over there at Lewis and Clark?
Yeah.
What is
it's
it?
lcpioneers.com.
Okay. All right.
Great.
So you're a big time player, Kristina. Did you have choice of schools to go to?
I was really just choosing between two schools. I didn't play like AAU basketball before my senior year, so I just played with my high school team. We did like a few summer tournaments, but yeah, I was choosing between Lewis and Clark and Puget Sound, actually, who's in our conference.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, just those two, really.
What made you choose Lewis and Clark?
A lot of the same answers as Sara, but also I just love that the school was small. I went into a few classes when I came on my visit, and just like there's less kids in my classes now than I had in high school. So like I had more kids in my high school than I do at Lewis and Clark. So I kind of liked that feel, and the teachers, like I met with a few of the teachers, and they were so friendly, and that's what I've experienced just as my time there. Like I feel close with some of my teachers, which has been great. And yeah, also the coaching staff definitely drew me in as well.
Cool. Juli, these two are obviously big players on your team. Talk about some of the other players on the squad right now that make a big difference.
Yeah, well, we started the year with 3 seniors, and one of the seniors tore ACL right at the beginning of the year, and so we are missing her, but I think she's going to be able to come back next year, which will be nice. And we have a really strong junior class, and so we have 5 athletes that have been, since they got here, they've kind of been some of the personality of our team, and so they bring a little bit of the entertainment factor, as well as their ability to push and go hard. And so we start Taylor Wang, who started some last year when one of our players tore ACL. So she started last year at the 3 spot and is starting this year. And she's just super athletic, able to do a lot of things, rebounds a lot from the guard position. And then we have Kat Howell, who's also from California. And she's kind of our enforcer. And I think she likes that role. So she's only 5'7", but when we played George Fox, she started on the 6'5". Player, and so she's actually guarding a lot of the post players for us and doing a great job, and one of our better rebounders as well. And then we're starting Casey Zinn, who's one of our sophomores, a 6-foot guard forward from California. And so that rounds out our starting lineup, but we're really fortunate. We have played a lot of games where we've played all 12 players, and they all bring different things. And so depending on that night when we need to go bigger or when we need to go smaller, we've been really fortunate. We have different lineups that we can use, and they all have done different things, and so hopefully the future looks bright too, but we will certainly miss these 2 when they graduate.
Sara, do you have plans after this year, or you just?
I'm definitely considering grad school, but in the meantime, looking for an internship. Until grad school, I want a little break.
Mm-hmm.
But.
And what type of internship are you looking for?
Somewhere in the computer science.
Okay, computer science.
That's your major,
yeah.
Computer science? Right on. Kristina?
I've been thinking about trying to play overseas. I won't really know for sure on that until like after the season, because I can't like get an agent or anything till after that. So hopefully that, and then I've also been thinking about grad school in psychology, which is my major.
Mm-hmm. Play professional overseas?
Yeah.
Oh, right on. What countries are you looking at?
Basically like any, but I think some of like the most common ones that I've known people to go to are like Germany, and I've known a few people have also gone to Spain or Australia. So
cool.
Yeah.
So I noticed actually on your guys' website, you have a blog of some kind. And I saw some traveling that you did, and it just seems like you guys have a tight kind of community team. And I always think that's great, and we see that a lot in, you know, teams that work really well together and that are successful. I know you guys are at winter break right now.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct? So do you guys hang out? I mean, outside of basketball, do you guys have like functions or get-togethers?
Right now, we're definitely hanging out a lot because we're like the only ones, us and the guys teams are like the only ones on campus. And so
right.
a lot of the team is in one dorm all together right now. And then a few are still in their apartments. But yeah, basically all day it's like sleeping in and then hanging out with each other. So definitely a lot of team bonding.
Yeah.
Outside of winter break, we also hang out a lot too. So yeah, we have a pretty close team, which makes it really fun. And like Coach was saying, like have very outgoing personalities, and yeah, so it's always a lot of fun.
That's great. Do you guys ever have scrimmage games against the guys?
No. They joke about it though and say like if they would beat us, that would be like a huge win for them. But no.
That's funny. Julie, are you familiar with any of those leagues that she's talking about overseas?
Yeah, we actually, the last few years, we've had a few players from our league go. And so, you know, through those connections, I've worked with Brooks Meek, one of our former NBA players. He works at the NBA now. He's a former Lewis and Clark grad, and we've done international travel and had a chance to meet different people. And so the college has some connections, but, you know, I think the reputation of the league has allowed us to have opportunities to have players go overseas and play.
That's definitely a good thing. Domestically, are there any other professional options other than the WNBA?
I mean, they have semi-pro leagues. You know, actually the nice things about Portland is they have a really developed women's league, which, you know, there's not very many cities in the country you can actually play year-round in most sports. But basketball and soccer here, once you graduate, you know, players can stay and play against a lot of other players that have recently graduated.
Do you still play?
I did when I first got here. The age has finally caught up to me.
I've noticed some big outdoor tournaments going on over the summertime.
Yeah, there are a few.
Around town.
I only play in the moments where I know I'm going to win.
Do you practice with them?
Rarely. Same situation. If I know it's going to be to my advantage, I'll jump in.
How do you keep your team so motivated? I mean, they seem so positive. And
You know, I think some of it's recruiting the right type of players.
Yeah.
You know, we want people that are passionate about winning and passionate about being champions, and so I think that's the first piece.
Yeah.
You know, they are competitive by nature, and so when we need a little extra energy in practice, we can turn things into competitions, and that usually is the first thing that works.
That's great.
But I think, you know, that's the big piece. They like they like playing together, and you know, they're driven and they want to be successful on the court, and that is the biggest thing I think that helps them. It's just part of the nature of who they are.
That's great.
Going back to life after basketball at Lewis and Clark, a lot of the girls on the team are not from around here. What is the overall feeling about the city of Portland? Do they like it compared to where they're from, or?
I think they all enjoy it.
Yeah.
They find it different from where they're coming from. So it's kind of a new experience for them. And not only that, they all think that the people from Portland are really nice and outgoing. So it makes it a lot easier to adapt.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of us are from California, so it definitely takes a little bit to get used to the lack of sun. But I know, like, for me at least, and I'm sure Sara would say the same, you kind of get used to it a little bit, and it makes, when we go home, makes the sun like feel so much better. So yeah, you like don't realize I lived there my whole life almost, and I just didn't really realize. So
Yeah. It's one of the reasons I recruit in California all the time.
Yeah.
It's a good excuse to leave in the winter.
Lots of recruiting trips, huh?
Yeah, and anytime we can.
Cool. So let's talk about some upcoming games here. Just kind of highlight a few of the important ones coming up on your schedule.
Yeah, well, this weekend we have Willamette. We go, it's our first league road game since Christmas. And so, you know, they've got a new coach, and she's doing a fantastic job, and every week they're getting stronger. And then we're at home against Puget Sound, and they've been a perennial powerhouse. And so that'll be a battle, no doubt. They, you know, shoot the outside, ball a lot. And then we turn right back around and play at home on Tuesday against Pacific. And so it's 3 games in 5 days. So it becomes a pretty important stretch just to get through and get home wins.
Cool. So people can go on the website and check out the schedule.
Yep, absolutely. If you go to lcpioneers.com and go onto the women's basketball link, there's a schedule page, and if you go there, there's a video link.
Awesome.
Great.
I know I'll get back up there and check out another game. I had a great time the other day.
Good. Well, we appreciate you coming.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much for coming into the studio. We appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Oh, yeah, we've got the video to show that Kristina made. I totally forgot about that. All right. Cue up the video for Kristina. Can you introduce the video?
Oh, yeah. I was in a kind of a interesting class for me, but I just took it for fun. It was an electronic music class this past semester at Lewis and Clark. And for our final project, we had to make a piece of music and then put some video towards it. So I made like a little highlight film of our games, and the music behind it I made, and added some songs to it as well.
Okay, cool. Well, we're going to play the video, and while the video plays, we're going to change out some guests. And again, we thank you, ladies, for being here.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
All right, shoot the video.
Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure.
Till the lights go out, till my legs give out. Can't shut my mouth till the smoke clears out. Am I high? Perhaps I'ma rip this shit till my bone color.
Great moments are born from great opportunity.
I may be young, but I'm ready.
Work it, make it, do it, make sense.
Lay. Sir. I had someone tell me I fell off, ooh, I needed that. And they wanna see me pick back up, well, where'd I leave it at? I know I exaggerated things, now I got it like that. Tuck my napkin in my shirt, cause I'm just mobbing like that. You know good and well that you don't want a problem like that. You gon' make someone around me catch a body like that. No, don't do it.
We're way past big speech time. Big speech time. Big speech.
Let's go. Make no excuses now. I'm talking here and now. I'm talking here and now. Let's go. Your time is running out. I'm talking here and now. I'm talking here and now. It's not about what you've done. It's about what you're doing. It's all about where you going, no matter where you've been. Let's go, 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 go.
How do you go from where you are to where you want to be? And I think you have to have an enthusiasm for life. You have to have a dream, a goal. You have to be willing to work for it.
There we go. All right, we're back. And we are back.
We are going to have some scores here. Thursday night, boys basketball, Jefferson defeated Roosevelt 78-49. I am PJ Miller. This is Peter Klein, and we're bringing you all your score updates for the evening. You can also check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/PortlandSportsBeat. You can find us on our website, portlandsportsbeat.com, or on Twitter @PDXSportsBeat. We'll have highlights of games and all those kind of things up on our social media, so make sure you check us out there. Back to the scores. Friday, we had West Lynn at West Salem. West Lynn defeated West Salem 70-66. Central Catholic was at Lake Oswego, and we'll actually have the Lake Oswego guys on a little bit later. And Lake Oswego defeated Central Catholic 59-45. And girls basketball, St. Mary's defeated Gresham 61-27. And actually out at Metro East, me and a few other people, we broadcast that game. It was a really good game. St. Mary's Academy has a very, very good team. Look for them to make some noise. Actually, I believe next week, St. Mary's and Central Catholic are playing, and we are going to try to be out at that game and have some coverage of that. So that'll be something to look forward to next week. And in women's college basketball, Whitworth defeated Lewis and Clark 88-72. And that was Lewis and Clark's only defeat of the year. Nationally ranked Lewis and Clark, who was just on the show. So it was a great program out there.
And going on with the scores there, on the 4th Friday, we actually were at the PIL Showcase. Grant defeated Jefferson there, 79-65. You also had Roosevelt playing Lincoln. Roosevelt pulled off the win over top of Lincoln there. You had Benton against Madison. Benton beat Madison 55-40. You also had Cleveland against Wilson. Cleveland defeated Wilson 51-27 without much trouble there. Moving on to girls basketball, on Saturday the 5th, we had Rainier at Valley Catholic. Valley Catholic pulled out the win there, 46-35. Also in women's basketball, you had, this is college women's basketball there, you had Lewis and Clark defeat Whitman there, 76-65. Another good game by Lewis and Clark coming out of college. On Thursday, you had in boys basketball, you had CC beat Sunset 64-44. You also had Clackamas playing at Barlow, and Clackamas pulled out the win there barely on their fingertips by 2 points, 55-53. You also had Lake Oswego at Jesuit. Lake Oswego pulled out the win there, 46-38. We had Jefferson playing at Lincoln. Jefferson pulled out the win, 67-55. Good matchup there. We also had West Lynn and Westview playing together. West Lynn pulled out the win there, 64-56. Moving on to girls basketball, also on that Thursday, we had Sandy playing at Park Rose, 51-37. Wilson playing at Milwaukee. Wilson pulling out an easy win there. And also Oregon City pulled out a win over Jesuit, 85-26. Good matchups there. So BJ, you've seen some of those games out there this past week.
Yeah, I was actually, last night I was out at the Central Catholic game. They were playing Sunset. Both teams that had a pretty good showing out at the Les Schwab Invitational. So it was good to see kind of how those teams regroup after a big tournament like that. Central Catholic, they have Dyer in the middle. He had 26 points. He really dominating. They didn't really have anybody inside who could stop him. Rebounding machine. I think he had 4 double-doubles this year. Just a really good player inside. And Central Catholic has, they're going to be playing Jesuit on Friday, and we're going to be out with Metro East again, doing a game out there on Friday out at Central Catholic for that Jesuit, the Holy War, as they call it. It's the two big Catholic schools out in this area. So that's going to be a great game that we're going to be out there covering on Friday.
Coming up to that game on there. So.
Yes. So we have also some other upcoming games that we wanted to talk about.
Speaking of the upcoming games here that we've got coming up this next week.
Yes, in men's basketball, college basketball, Sacramento State is at Portland State. That's at 7:30 p.m. That was on Thursday. On Friday, we talked about it, Jesuit at Central Catholic High School. That's going to be a big matchup. Jesuits coming off the loss to Lake Oswego, but they're looking to rebound against Central Catholic, who last time I checked was ranked number 3 in the state, so it's number 2 and number 3 in the state. Barlow is at Southridge. Barlow is another dominant team out of that Mount Hood Conference. Look for them to have a pretty good year. And then Westview is at Grants. In girls basketball, Liberty is going to be at Park Rose. You know, DeLove looking to kind of turn that season around for Park Rose. They've had some pretty good success last year, looking to overcome some struggles that they had early on this year and kind of right the ship there out at Park Rose.
On Saturday, the 12th coming up on men's basketball there, we're going to have the Northwest Christian playing at Warner Pacific. That's a 7:30 game time. You have the Southwest Oregon playing at the PCC. That's a 4 p.m. game time on Saturday. And North Arizona at PSU at 7:30 p.m. that game. On women's basketball on the same day, you have Puget Sound playing at Lewis and Clark. That'll be a good women's basketball matchup there. Watch those Lewis and Clark girls we just had on. On Tuesday, the 15th, in boys basketball, we're going to have Clackamas playing at Lake Oswego. You're going to have Westview playing at Beaverton, LaSalle at Gladstone, and Southridge at Jesuit. that Jesuit team we keep talking about on there. And girls basketball also playing on Tuesday. You're going to have Central Catholic playing at St. Mary's and Sherwood playing at Parkwaros on there for you. And those are going to be the upcoming games for the next week for you to keep track of that we'll be keeping you in touch with on SportsBeat here. And you can always stay up to date on our Twitter feeds about where we'll be at with the games and how we'll be going up with them.
Again, you can follow us on Twitter at PDX SportsBeat. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/Portland SportsBeat. And then, of course, our website where we do all of our highlights, game streams. You can find that all there, portlandsportsbeat.com. Right now, we got the Lake Oswego boys are in studio, the #1 ranked in the state. Lake Oswego boys coming off of a nice win against Jesuit. Ryan, back to you with the Lake Oswego boys.
Thank you, PJ. Thank you, Peter. Sports desk over there. Those guys are great. Thank you for the scores and upcoming game. We're back here, like they said, with Lake Oswego boys basketball players Daniel Verberg and Connor Griffin. Welcome. Fellas.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot for having us.
Yeah.
#1, coming off a big win last night. Give us the
scoop.
give us the shakedown on the Jesuit game.
I mean, it started exactly like our first game we played them. I mean, we played them earlier in the season in the Les Schwab Invitational, and I think at the end of the first quarter it was 8-12. They were winning, and they were just hitting every single shot. So it was we questioned ourselves a little bit at the beginning, but I mean, we just stuck together with the adversity and everything, and came out with the win.
Definitely been getting off to a little bit of a slow start in some games, but I mean that's a bad habit that we're trying to get out of. And last night wasn't a step in the right direction, but stayed together, came through, finished strong, and that's what ended up helping us out and get the win.
Yeah, it's always important, to get a win. Then again, it's a league game, and you've already played them once, you've already beaten them once. Nice to beat them again. Do you guys have to temperament your attitude? It's not the state championship. What's your guys' goal this year?
And I mean, well, definitely first off, our goal undoubtedly is state championship. But I mean, what you were saying at first about taking different games at different times, and I mean, for us, every time we get to play Jesuit, it's an opportunity. I mean, we definitely cherish those, and I mean, those are always good games for us, and I mean, definitely something you can get up for no matter where. I mean, you're playing a Les Schwab championship, which we did the first time, just in a regular out of league game or state playoffs. It's all the same to us when you're playing Jesuit and Lake Oswego. That's always a big game for sure.
Yeah. Daniel, you a captain?
I mean, we don't. I mean, we have about 9 seniors on our team. We got about 8 or 9 captains. I mean, we don't have named captains, but I mean, every senior on our team seems to be a good leader, and helps us out a lot.
Talk about your role. What do you do on the floor? Describe your style of play.
For me, well, I play the 2 position, which is a shooting guard. I mean, we have a lot of firepower on offense with Calvin, Christian, Colin, Connor. I mean, we have a lot of guys who can score the basketball. My role, I'm more of a shooter. I stay outside. I mean, I like to, when they close out, when defense closes out hard, try to go to the basket, but a lot of times my job is to stretch the defense and make sure that they have to space out so that they have to respect me and my jump shot so that we can open it up for everyone else and score my fair share if they're packing inside, which they do tend to do a lot.
Yeah. You mentioned spreading the floor. Connor, you're one of the bigger guys on the floor, and I noticed you were handling the ball a lot of the time out at the point. Kind of describe to the viewers what your role is on your team.
Well, in our system, I play the 4, and it's kind of a trailer man, so if the point guard's having trouble bringing the ball up or anything, I can set a screen or he can just reverse, and I just get us straight into our offense. And, I mean, my role this season has basically been rebounds and then almost a secondary scoring option, and then basically everything else, just a little bit of everything I do. I get assists and all that, but I mean, there's no specific role I have. I'm just kind of that glue to do whatever it needs to be that night.
You guys have a very dominant player. You have a lot of dominant players on your team, but one in particular, Calvin Hermanson, is a defending state player of the year. Is that right?
Yeah.
How does he fit into your system?
Well, I mean, a lot of our plays are designed to get Calvin a shot, as a lot of them should be. I mean, definitely, that's always a good option. Getting the ball to Calvin's always good, but a lot of times you see that teams start to jump out on Calvin a lot. You get the game plan all week, make sure you get out on Calvin, and that opens up for everyone else on the team too. And I mean, he's a very generous passer on the floor too, and so that opens it up for everyone. I mean, he's definitely valuable to have on the floor, whether it's him scoring or helping everyone else out. Very generous passer and helps a lot.
8 seniors on this year's team?
Yeah, that's a lot.
8, 9, something like that.
Yeah.
How do you guys juggle all those dominant personalities? I mean, obviously you guys are working well together.
Luckily, we don't have too many dominant personalities.
Yeah.
Everyone seems to get together pretty well.
Good.
I mean, there's never any. And it's hard because your senior year is supposed to be your big year, and I mean, sometimes that can get. I mean, you see that sometimes where there's playing time issues and people are getting upset about their minutes. But I mean, that really hasn't been a problem at all on our team. I mean, we all get along great, and we all have fun, and we all have the same goal in mind. So it's pretty easy for us to focus up and try to get that done.
That's great.
They share the ball very, very well.
Yeah.
You can tell that their personalities are like Daniel described, where they share the ball. They don't really care.
Everyone
who
has
scores.
their opportunity.
I mean, almost every single one of you is a drive to the basket or shoot the outside shot type of player. Do you spread the floor against everybody? Is that kind of?
I mean,
every time I've seen you play, you got guys out on the perimeter and you're looking to.
Yeah, I mean, we like we talked about earlier, we got a lot of scores. So I mean, every time we can spread the floor and create mismatches like that, like last night, for example, Connor had a mismatch when he had the ball. We're all going to spread the floor and make sure he has all the room that he needs to go score for our team. And we create a lot of mismatches, and that's our goal. And so if we keep the floor spaced and we can really take advantage of those, if we're all bunched up, I mean, we limit ourselves and we can't exactly get all the open shots that we want. So something we definitely try to focus on is spreading the floor, making sure we all have opportunities and space to work. So.
I listened to the interview from your coach after last night's game. He was happy about the result. Kind of describe his coaching style and what he brings to the squad.
Yeah. I mean, he has applied a new system this past 2 years, I think it's been. And, I mean, for us, it's worked out really well. I wasn't able to play last year, but this year, it's my first time playing in this system, and we've really enjoyed it. We're playing like a matchup-type zone defense where it really throws other teams off guard, and he's done a wonderful job coaching that, and it's something really hard for us to get down, but, I mean, he's had the patience to help us get used to it and operate it right.
So how many years has he been there? Is he just
a lot of years?
He's been there.
He's been there as long as I've known, at least.
Okay.
And he just recently switched his system up to.
I mean, he likes to switch his system based on personnel, and so he likes what we got, and so switched it up into a little bit different than past years.
Like our
Sounds
sophomore
like
year.
It's working for you guys.
Yeah. Did you have an injury last year?
Yeah, I actually tore my ACL second game into the season.
Wow. You look strong out there last night. How's it feeling?
It feels great now. Nothing to worry about.
Cool.
Great.
You guys had a really good football team too, right?
We made it to the state championship this year.
You play football, Connor?
Yeah.
Daniel, you're just basketball?
I played football up for my first 3 years, and then going into my senior year, I decided I'd rather focus on basketball and do some of those things. I had a great time on the football team, but I realized for me that I was going to get the most out of this by focusing more on basketball. Yeah. So that's what I did.
You got the basketball body type. Connor, you can kind of go both ways on that.
Yeah.
How many guys on your basketball team did come from the football team?
Originally we had 4, but one of our players for basketball ended up quitting. So we're down to 3 now. But yeah, I think it really translates over because a lot of those football players are bigger guys. So you'll see those guys down low getting rebounds, just playing tough D and everything like that. So we do bring a toughness aspect to it that really helps the other players too.
How is the transition going from football to basketball? Did you take a break in between, or?
No, I mean we played I think the second Saturday in December for a state championship, and it was that Monday that I had my first practice. So.
Oh, so you got Sunday off.
Yeah,
Wow.
I got Sunday off. It wasn't too bad. I had to learn some plays though.
All right, 8 seniors on the team. How long? Do you guys go to middle school together? Like, how far back does the group go?
Well, I mean, I definitely remember I've been playing with some of these. Like Connor and I have been playing together since, 5th or 6th grade.
Oh, wow.
And a lot of the guys are like that too. We've had some kids come in along the way from different schools, but I mean, they've all come in and it's been a really smooth transition. And so there's some guys that I've been playing in a core group with for a long time, but other guys too. And sometimes it's off-season play. During the spring, AAU basketball, we have some guys from our team, 4 or 5, that play for the same club team. And so you kind of get used to guys, and we've been together for a while now, so that helps definitely get some team unity.
Okay.
Yeah. And how is that team unity actually? Like, do you guys do anything outside of your actual games and practice?
Definitely. I mean, we definitely have some. Just it's more just casual team activities. I mean, after practice, after games, usually go out to eat, go to someone's house, hang out for a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing huge. We have, our team dinners before games, stuff after games, hanging out, just trying to. We don't really have any problems with each other. I mean, we all get along really well, and so it's pretty easy, and it's nice to hang out with them anyway. It's not a forced thing.
Life is good when you're winning games.
Yeah.
Let's get the video queued up. We took a little bit of video from last night's game. It's nothing great. Just had my handheld with me. But we did get some video, so I'll have you guys take a look at it when we're watching it, and then we'll talk a little bit about last night's game.
That's great.
All right. Go ahead and roll that Lake Oswego Jesuit footage. All right. Final score of that game. Do you guys remember what it was? 46 to 39, I believe.
46 to 38.
40. How do you know that?
I wrote it down.
On it. it was they had a lead on you at the start.
Yeah.
Then you guys kind of made a run there towards the end of the first, into the second, and pretty much had the lead the rest of the game.
Mm-hmm.
That Jesuit team, you know, they're ranked number 2. Obviously, they're a great opponent to play against. Who are the other good teams in 6A basketball that you've played so far?
I mean, that we've played so far, we played Central Catholic. I mean, they're a good team. We got some big players and some good guards. That's always tough to handle.
Mm-hmm.
Westland as well, and we're familiar with them because they're in our conference, Three Rivers League. And so we're always familiar with them, playing them at least twice a year. And I mean, they're young, but they're a good team as well.
Another good team that we faced this year would be Grant. I mean, we were selling football, so we weren't allowed to play, but they sure gave our basketball-only guys a good run, and I wouldn't be surprised if we saw them later in the season during like the state tournament.
Definitely.
Grant, okay, so you mentioned you play in the Three Rivers Conference. Westland is good this year. Who else? Michelle, you were asking about rivalries.
Yeah.
Lake Ridge is in Lake Oswego.
Mm-hmm.
Are they your main rival?
I mean, we've had this discussion before. I mean, we have our 2 big rivals are Jesuit and Lake Ridge. And I mean, anytime you get to play one of those teams, it's a big deal. I mean, Jesuit because, I mean, it's 2 schools that have had a lot of success in basically all their sports, and that's always a big matchup. And then Lake Ridge, of course, just because, I mean, the close proximity and, I mean, right across the lake, north side of the lake versus south side of the lake, and, I mean, that's always big, and it's always a good time to play them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And do you guys have a lot of people that attend your games usually?
I mean,
yeah, I mean, this year especially because we've had some students really step up and put together some, I don't know what you want to call it, student section spirit, I guess. And we actually had the Gentleman's Row created this year. It's a group of guys that took the initiative to come to like all our games, even came to games out at the Les Schwab Invitational, and then we have Laker Navy as well. Just a big group of people from the entire school that come to all our games as well.
That's great.
Wow, pretty organized with your
Yeah.
fanfare.
Got some
That's
organized
awesome. Yeah, they were
fanfare.
out there at Jesuit last night. That's
Definitely.
cool. Any particular cheers that you enjoy that they do?
I like this one. I just noticed this last night, actually. Our team puts a big emphasis on taking charges. I mean, getting in backside help and then stepping up and taking charges. And I didn't know we did this, but I was during the game last night. After we took a charge, they had like a little dun 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 charge, and they synced it up perfectly. And I was pretty impressed with them.
I remember that. They were very very organized out there. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. Back to the Three Rivers League real quick. Who else is there? Clackamas,
Oregon City,
City,
Canby, Westland, Lake Ridge, and
Canby.
and that's the 6.
Okay. All right. Connor, do you have plans after high school?
I'm still trying to decide whether or not I want to play football or basketball. So football stuff is coming kind of right now. They just got done with all their seasons, so Coach Corey, the football coach, has been talking to some colleges for me. And then basketball, those offers probably won't come until a little bit later, but I'm excited to see what happens.
What about you, Daniel? You got plans after high school?
For me, of course, it's solely basketball, but I have I'd play more of a D3 level basketball just based on size and whatnot, but I'm in communication with some smaller D3 schools around the country, and then just schools I think are good fits for me, and then, so mostly D3 small basketball schools.
We had 3 guests from Lewis and Clark College on the first half of the show. They were from the women's program over there. Do you know anything about the Northwest Conference? It's a D3 conference.
I mean, I know of them, but I haven't been in communication with many of the coaches.
We actually had a player from last year play at Lewis and Clark this year. Jason Lunau, he's a 3-point specialist kind of guy, and he decided to go there this year and play for them.
How's their team doing? The men's team up there. You have any idea?
I think they have they've took some steps forward this year. I know Jason's told me that he's got a little bit of playing time, and from what I've heard, he's been doing pretty well. But I've heard it's been a pretty successful season for them thus far.
So you keep in contact with him a bit, sounds like?
I mean, from time to time. I mean, most of that is talking to Jason and just kids who go there. I mean, I haven't been in, and I don't think you have been in, like having conversation with many of the coaches there. But I mean, definitely because they're so local and we got people there, so definitely hearing from time to time.
Do you keep in contact with other guys that you've played with in the program that have gone on to either play or not play? Just
definitely
upperclassmen. When you got, how many years have you been on varsity? First of all,
sophomore, junior, senior year.
Sophomore,
so 3 years.
junior, senior,
and then freshman year for me.
Oh, you all 4 years. So you've played with a lot of other guys that have come through the program. You keep in contact with them?
Yeah, especially. I mean, over the break this season, we had some former players come in and actually practice with us and help us on scout team stuff. So we had Billy Reeder. He ended up going to Montana, then transferred to Idaho State, and he's playing there now. And then just a former player, I don't think he went to BYU just for school, and that was Landon Ainge. He came in and practiced with us. And another kid that I played with was Max Livingston. He went to Hawaii Pacific, and from what I've heard, he's liked it there so far.
Definitely we got a nice family feeling though. I mean, a lot of the players come back around the break, and that's special. And when I played football, it's the same way at LO. I mean, you seem like you always have a lot of kids coming back and saying hi to coaches and just kind of keeping the family feel alive for the program, and that's always cool.
Says a lot about the program, really. Mark Schaff is the coach over there. He's been there quite a while now. Mark Horak is actually the athletic director over there at LO, right?
Yes.
I'm a Central Catholic guy. He used to work at Central Catholic.
Yeah.
So I knew him back when he was still a teacher.
His daughter work there now, I think too.
She goes to CC?
I think she works for CC now.
Oh, really? How's Mark? Do you have much interaction with him? As he's an AD, you know, he's not your coach, but he's obviously in the program.
Yeah, I mean, he's really good about keeping in contact with us too, and he's always asking about our games. And I mean, he's a really good guy, and we're really fortunate to have him at LO. And I mean, he's always been respected as a really, really good athletic director. And I mean, he spends a lot of time. If you go to the school after hours, he's generally there, and I mean, you see him a lot of the times, and he definitely does a lot for all the programs, and that's really special to have someone like him.
AD's responsibilities are very extensive.
Yeah.
They always got juggling different sports and coaches and players and everything. We were talking during the video there about football, Michelle. You went to Marshfield.
I did. I went to Marshfield High School. I'm a Pirate. Yes.
Marshfield's got a good football program.
Yeah, we had a great football program, and I just remember, I mean, really the best memory I had in high school was probably going to those games. I mean, yeah, it was freezing, but it was so worth it. And, you know, I love high schools that accentuate that because I think sports are really important, you know.
Yeah, the football games bring the community together.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Plus, it's Coos Bay, so there isn't that much to do.
Is it that small?
It's pretty small. It's pretty small. I mean, you know, for the longest time it's Coos Bay and then North Bend, and we want to just combine and make it Coos Bend or North Bay, but they just, you know, just like Lake Ridge, and we just have that rivalry, and so it's always been two different places.
How big are those? I've never been to southeastern Oregon, down there, southwestern Oregon. So, yeah, what do they compare to around here in size-wise?
Size-wise, I mean, Westview is fairly large, isn't it?
The high school?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Well, I have no idea. I have no idea then.
Like Seaside? Is it kind of like Seaside? You've been to Seaside.
Yeah, I have been to Seaside. I didn't even know they had a school, but
okay.
I guess it's similar to.
Don't talk about Seaside like
yeah,
that.
I'm sorry.
People don't go to school.
I love Seaside.
Okay, we digress here. All right, let's take a moment to thank our crew members.
Yes.
Here, there's a lot of them tonight. I'm quite familiar, and I'll try to list a few. I'll list as many as I can. PJ is a co-producer on the show. Chris and Christy work for PCM, and they help out kind of all across the board. Bill's in the back room doing everything. Tom's switching, directing. Rod's on camera. Julie's on camera. Kim's on graphics. Claudia's assisting. Katie's mixing graphics.
Anybody?
I probably did miss a lot of people back there. Yell your name out back there. Diane times 2. Diane on audio and Diane on camera. Those are a few of the people. SportsBeat is really the efforts of everybody, you know, yourself, Michelle, co-hostesses, guests that make their time to come in here. So this is kind of our Wednesday night community event. Yeah. You know, doesn't compare to the Friday night events, but
yeah.
Are you guys getting a lot of people out there for your Friday night basketball games?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, especially with those new groups this year, everyone's coming in. And with the team we have as well, like people from all over want to come watch us play, so we create some excitement for people.
And when's your next game?
We play Friday at Canby.
Canby, okay.
Any other games on the schedule coming up that kind of stand out?
I'd say we have every game's a big game. I mean, definitely don't treat any games smaller than the next, but we play Westland next Friday, I believe.
Excuse me, at home or at Westland?
I think it's at home. I think, but I mean, I could be wrong.
Okay. Yeah, one thing I forgot to ask you guys about was that Les Schwab invite. We talked about it in the last couple of weeks on the show, but you won the tournament 4-0. What were the 4 teams that you beat?
Sunset,
Central Catholic, Newman Goretti out of Philadelphia, and Jesuit.
Impressive lineup.
Yeah, it's a good time.
First time an Oregon team has won it in a few years.
2003.
Since 2003.
That was Jesuit who won.
That was Jesuit that won it. Wow. All right. Well, fellas, thank you for coming in to the show tonight.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Good luck. We've got 1 minute left here, but good luck the rest of the way. You want to give a shout out to any of your teammates? During the beginning of our interview, you mentioned a few of them. Maybe mention them and talk about them a little bit, just while we wind down here.
Well, I mean, if we got to list everybody out here. I mean,
you got Nehemiah, the dunk contest champion from Red Bluff. Chris McDonald, the transfer from Valley Catholic. Calvin Hermanson, 6A Player of the Year.
Chad Walker, bench leading extraordinaire. And that's more important than you'd think. Mitchell McLaughlin, Brainiac. Nathan.
French foreign exchange student.
Can't speak English. Kinda can speak English. Colin Caslick. Nothing from there.
All right.
Great, and I think we're wrapping up.
All right. That's about all the time we have. Again, thank you guys for coming in. Thanks everybody for doing it. We will be back here next week.